So this build will handle itself perfectly in every situation, using poison to its advantage while also making you feel like a demigod with its unique stun capabilities. And I am talking about the build that I put together called the Toxic Thor Build or the Zombie Thor Build in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And definitely let me know in the comments down below which name you prefer the most. But before we are heading into the details, what is up guys, it's the boy Gerald and welcome to another Assassin's Creed Valhalla video. If you haven't already dropped a like, it would be really appreciated, and if you're new to the channel and want to stay updated on the latest Assassin's Creed Valhalla content, make sure to subscribe to the channel. So with that being said, let's get into it. So lately I am having a lot of fun in Assassin's Creed Valhalla with this really strong build, which lets you feel like the God of Thunder himself, but with a nice little spin to it, which we will discuss in greater detail in a couple of seconds. Furthermore, as you guys might already know, I really like to mix and match in games with different weapons, stats, perks and gear. And this is no different in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Only thing is that I already covered the most common builds with the pieces from the base game. And unfortunately, the gear pieces that actually have the most insane perks in the game for builds are locked behind Ubisoft's Helix store. But luckily, once in a while Reda is stocked with some really nice items, and until now I have managed to get my hands on 3 pieces of the insane Draugr set from the Helix store without having to spend my own in real life money. And with these awesome gear pieces I made this godlike build which lets you shred through anyone. Especially with the selected weapons and one specific ability, this build becomes unstoppable. And as the gameplay already gave some details away, let's have a look at what you need for this build and how to make it for yourselves, in order for you to give it a shot for yourselves in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Starting off with the gear pieces and their perks. So first up, you want to get at least 2 gear pieces from the Draugr set in order to activate the first armor set perk, being that it increases attack when hitting a poisoned enemy for a duration of 15 seconds with a bonus of plus 10 attack. And as you can see, I have the Draugr hood and the Draugr braces, and I actually got these from Reda by just checking in daily what he had in the shop, so I didn't even have to spend some money on the 2 pieces to make this build. Apart from the Draugr pieces, you want to equip a minimum of 2 pieces of the Thor armor set, and again in order to activate the first armor set perk, being that it increases speed when stunning an enemy, which stacks up to 4 times with a bonus of plus 2.5 points. And as you can see, I also added the Thor rune on the armor to increase armor when stunning an enemy, which will work perfectly for this build, giving it a bit of tankiness in tough situations. But apart from the stats and the perks of the armor pieces, the looks are of course also very important. At least I do like it when my character looks pretty badass. And I'm a big fan of the entire Draugr set, but the Draugr hood really stands out for me personally. It isn't that fancy or flashy as the other hoods and cloaks out there, and besides that I think that it goes really well with the Thor armor set. Next up, we're going to have a look at the weapons and why they are incorporated in this specific build. So in order to make this build for yourselves, you will need to have Mjolnir and Feared Spear for its stats and perks. And first, let's have a closer look at both the weapons, starting with Mjolnir. So for this build, you want to equip Mjolnir in the main hand for its striking power and more importantly, one of the strongest perks in the game, being that every hit you do with Mjolnir has a chance to do stun damage to all enemies around you and the target, providing this electric charge explosion which will decrease the enemy's stun bars. And the chances for this to happen are a staggering 33% on a normal hit, which is already pretty overpowered, and a 100% chance for it to occur when performing a finisher on an enemy. To add to that, I also added some runes to the hammer to increase the speed of it, and a diamond rune that increases the attack when surrounded by more than 3 enemies. And this weapon goes really great with the Thor armor set due to the stun capabilities and the small speed boost that comes along with it. And to increase the stun capabilities even a bit more, I included Hunbeard's bow, which will increase stun damage when hitting weak spots for a duration of 5 seconds with a bonus of plus 20 points. And the great thing about this is that you do not even have to use the bow directly, but just have it equipped in order to get the perk activated. And at last, to increase the speed a bit more, I included Feared Spear in the offhand. but also for the charged attack that it will impale an enemy and throw it into a certain direction, doing quite some damage. And the Spear's perk will increase speed when dodging for a duration of 2.5 seconds with an increase of plus 10 points in speed. And to finish the build off and to get the Draugr set in action, you really want to unlock and equip the Poisonous Strike ability, which enables Eivor to make his or her weapons poisonous. Because when an enemy becomes poisoned by this ability, the Draugr set will enable that there will be an increase in attack on these enemies. And everything combined make it a really good and fun to play with build. And keep in mind that you do not really have to use a build in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, because you're already overpowered enough when you're of a higher power level. But making builds and trying them does make the lack of endgame content in the game much more fun. But back to the build. It all synergizes together the stun capabilities of Mjolnir, the added speed of the Thor armor set when stunning enemies with Mjolnir, the speed after dodging of the spear, and the increased attack of the Draugr set when hitting poisoned enemies. And overall my tactic with this build is just run up to the enemies or get them together by sounding the battle horn, activate the poison strike near a group of enemies and attacking them in the process, while also dodging for incoming attacks and being able to counter these missed hits of the enemy due to the increase of speed. But yeah, this was it for the Toxic Thor build. I hope you enjoyed it and let me know in the comments down below if you're going to try this build out for yourself. Furthermore, if you like the content, make sure to leave a like as it will really help the channel out. And for more Assassin's Creed Valhalla content, make sure to subscribe to the channel. And I got another cool guide up on my channel, so make sure to check it out via the link in the video or via the link in the description. And as always, thank you guys for watching and see you in the next one.